on his way. Devil is on his way. Devil is on his way, motherfucker. The devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way. Fall to your knees. Devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way. Motherfucker, he's on his...
Mountain Murders is an Appalachian true crime podcast. Listener discretion is advised. The show contains graphic language and depictions of violence. It may not be suitable for all audiences.
We say fuck a lot. Hey guys, welcome back to Mountain Murders.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
You are.
Oh, I feel so Dylan-y today.
We're refreshed.
Ah, yes.
Apologies, we skipped a week of podcasting.
Right.
But we are back, and thank you for listening to episode 88 of Mountain Murders podcast.
Yes, and we are back refreshed, and it was part, we wanted to get away for a little while, and it was part in solidarity with the things going on in our nation. And
Podcast blackout.
Black Lives Matter. It matters to us. And right quick, I don't know if this is, I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but right quick, if you think it's okay to kill American citizens in the street, then stop listening to us.
Our content is not for you.
Our content's not for you, and I don't want you to download a single other thing. That's all I'm going to say about it. And I think every other podcast, the big ones, the little ones, everyone should make their position on that known. Because I'm so sick of the fucking arguments and the rationalization. Oh, just comply with all this bullshit. Okay, and I think that's why George Floyd in particular, after we've seen it over and over again, he was obviously under control, cuffed, with 4 cops on top of him, okay? And that cop continued to lean on his neck with his fucking hands in his pocket. And no other cop drug him off of him and made him stop. So I think this is like, I don't know. It's like
a culture. It's
a culture. And then we see all these other stories. You were reading those stories when people ask, okay, have the cops ever showed up and helped you out? And even on small matters, cops are...
Yeah, let me get into that. So someone had posed the question on Twitter, have you ever needed to call police? For what reason? And what was the outcome? And these were people from all backgrounds.
All races, all backgrounds.
It was pretty interesting to see the comments and replies. The majority of people on this post were stating that they didn't feel like they really got help when they asked for it.
And at the same time,
for assistance.
I respect what cops do.
It's a hard job.
I don't have the guts
for
for it.
Money.
It is a very, very important job, and I think we need a police force. That being said, I think there's a culture, and it's been so embedded for so long. It's this, I'm right, you're
Us
wrong.
Against them mentality?
It's the gang in blue mentality, and I think that's where it went awry. Because long since past are the days with the friendly cop in town.
The Andy Griffith show,
yeah.
Where you have community policing.
Community policing, the cops are from that community.
They're friendly with the residents.
They're friendly, they know everybody.
They have a rapport.
They have a rapport. You aren't afraid to go up and ask him questions. Or, just you get an air about nowadays like, oh shit, there's a cop. Let me make sure I do everything exactly right. Like in the car when you're driving, or, oh my God, I'm getting pulled over, my registration sticker's dead, or, it's just, I don't know. I think it's went sideways a long time ago, and it doesn't make all cops bad. They're just in this system now that is built a certain way, and it's not working out.
Well, there's a lot of discussion back and forth in the podcast community about whether we use our voices to stand up, to speak out. And a lot of people are concerned about losing listeners, losing followers. But if you listen to Mountain Murders, I think you know us well enough to understand that we are not people who bite our tongue.
No.
We say what we feel, what we believe. And politics aside, we can all share an interest in true crime. And regardless of how we lean politically, you can enjoy our podcast. We're going to tell you a true crime story, and we want folks to listen in.
Yes.
But again, I have to decide with Dylan if you are okay with American citizens being murdered on U.S. soil by tax-funded police officers.
Yes.
You really need to rethink your position.
You need to rethink your position, and we're not for you. So we'll just, my heart goes out.
I'm a veteran, and I served this country because I believe in the United States, because I wanted to serve my country and be part of something bigger than myself. And I truly value freedom and democracy and upholding our constitutional rights. And that's for everybody. I did not serve and have friends serve and have friends who have been killed in combat, who've laid down their life, who've returned not the same from war, with PTSD issues, with a myriad of problems, so that we could stand by and watch citizens being killed here in the United States by basically our own government.
Yes, citizens should not be scared. After people can go through all that, they can serve, they can be overseas, they can be deployed, and then come home, and they're people. And some communities worse than others. Typically, low-income communities, communities of color, are scared in their own fucking neighborhood. They're scared to death when they go 2 or 3 blocks from their home because they see these cops that have bad attitudes. I'm sorry. And I think it's playing out. That's one thing with the protest. Okay? Is these fuckers are, you see video after video. And if you can call me a liar if you want, but I can show you the videos of cops, people walking up and saying, so what happened? You got the cop dressed head to toe in riot gear. What happens when the curfew starts? We're going to start beating the fuck out of you. That's what the cops are saying to people when they walk up to them. You see, Tom, the man in Minneapolis, or was it Minneapolis? The old man? Minneapolis, the old man?
I think that was in Chicago, where the elderly fellow was knocked down and has a severe brain injury now.
Yes, he was knocked down, 70-some years old, a known activist, been arrested over 300 times. They knocked him down. One of the younger cops, instantly reacted like, oh my God, let me help this man. And his superior grabbed him by the shoulder and jerked him up like, keep fucking moving. So.
We're passionate about this issue.
Yes.
We definitely are.
Oh my gosh.
We're speaking out. We really don't give a fuck how that lands on people. If you don't like it, turn our podcast off. We're not for you.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you're with us, then raise your fist in solidarity.
Yes, and you don't have to be exactly like us either. We're not 100% right, and you're not 100% wrong, or any of that bullshit. I'm sick of that mentality too. But you've got to be against American citizens being brutalized and killed on American soil in front of everybody. My fuck. Okay.
High five, Dylan.
High five.
I'm going to take away your soapbox now.
Okay, let me put my soapbox up, but that's an important fucking thing. I just had to say it. I'm sorry.
It's okay, baby. And this is why I love you, because you are a passionate individual.
Oh, my God.
And this is why our Mountain Murders listeners love you as well.
This leads me straight to workers' rights, social, economical transgressions against all the people in the... Oh, my God. See, my brain's gone now, but let's do it. Okay. That's why we had to go on. So that was part... was in solidarity, and part was in vacation, and that's a very important part of this story, right?
Right.
Vacation.
We had to take a mental break.
We did.
We've been stressed, and we needed to get away. We had a lovely vacation. We went to a beautiful lake resort. We were still able to social distance.
That was nice.
It was not very crowded. There was kayaking, paddleboarding, swimming,
golf,
a lot of outdoor activities, grilling. Dylan was in heaven. He was able to grill out every evening. He got to spend time with his mother-in-law, which he always loves.
Golfing is rich people's sport, I think.
I'm a terrible golfer.
I used to hit a few balls, and then I tried to play golf. You see what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With my face.
As always, let's give a shout out to our fine patrons who supported the podcast this week. Thanks to Cheryl and Rhiannon, both generously donated at Mountain Murders Patreon and are help bringing this case to you all. You can also sign up at patreon.com/Mountain Murders Podcast to access plenty of bonus content.
Man, I was looking the other day. There's starting to be quite a bit of content over there on Patreon, and thank you to those gals, because this is truly a labor of love, and if it wasn't for the patrons, we would not be able to continue.
Our story today involves vacations, love, and murder.
Oh, my God.
As Huey Lewis sang, the power of love is a curious thing.
Huey nailed that.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh, wow.
Sometimes love can blossom, and it's the most wonderful experience between two people. Other times, it's like a powder keg, ready to explode.
Yeah, the science of the chemical releases in your brain when you're in love, quote unquote, in love, it's very powerful. A lot of chemicals involved, and I think if you remove that I'm in love emotion out of humans, so much crime and murder would never happen.
Really?
Yeah, don't you think? Because that drives a lot of people and to do these crazy things that we talk about.
The emotions, the heavy emotions that are involved?
Well, the being in love, thinking they're doing it for love, or I can't, if I can't have you, nobody else will because I have to have you, or all this shit. Yeah,
love is probably one of the most, if not the most powerful emotion that human beings experience.
Yeah, because I think you could directly tie jealousy, insecurity, and a lot of other very strong, dangerous emotions into love. Oh my God, love's fucking dangerous, y'all. Oh baby, I'm in love with you, but you know what? I'd kill over you. I'd kill people over you.
I don't believe that.
No, yeah, I would just. That sounds like I would get them and kill them over your body. No, I don't mean that. I would protect you with my life. Yeah, and if you ever try to leave me, I would write a strongly worded email.
He's joking, y'all.
Yes,
He's
of
too
course.
lazy for an email.
Well, I'm too lazy to stalk and kill too.
Erika Grace and Benjamin Sifrit were considered an unlikely couple by the people who knew them. The pair could not be more opposite. Erika Grace was born into a life of wealth, privilege, and seemed to have it all. Loving parents, a big brick house, which she described as a mansion with a pool and basketball court, new cars, and a star spot on her hometown basketball team. She wanted for nothing.
Okay. Well, I did not grow up like that.
Country clubs, name brand clothing, lavish gifts. Erika was given life on a silver platter. By the time the honors student and high school basketball star went off to college at the University of Mary Washington, she was beginning to learn some hard lessons in life, like what it meant to be the small fish in a big pond.
Yeah, and that I think a lot of times that's a very big deal for people that come from a smaller community. They're a family with some money. They're the popular kid. Now she's an honors student and a basketball star. She had to, work for that, obviously. But yeah, that's a very big shock a lot of times when people go, move on to college is a perfect spot for it. You're not the big fish in the little pond anymore.
I've read conflicting accounts of Erika's college basketball experience. Some considered Erika to be this top athlete in her small Pennsylvania town, but when she got to college, some say she realized she was actually kind of a mediocre basketball player at best. She didn't really have the height to be a college standout.
Right.
But others say she led in three-point scoring.
Well, that's a big statistic.
And did pretty well
okay.
at the collegiate level.
But she definitely wasn't the big dog on the block.
When Erika met Benjamin, or BJ Sifrit, at a Fredericksburg, Virginia bar in 1999, the pair hit it off. However, BJ was focused on one thing and one thing only: becoming a Navy SEAL.
Oh, so BJ's all into fitness and being strong and going to be a badass. So how do you let people call you BJ? This is no offense to anyone, but, come on.
A girlfriend was not in his cards. BJ had been born in Iowa, grown up in Minnesota. He was a poor student, but a talented swimmer. His athleticism was noted. And his biggest goal was to become an elite member of a SEAL team.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's you got to have some grit to go through that training, I would think.
He joined the Navy, eventually earning a place in the BUDS program. Out of 77 recruits in the program, he graduated number 1 in his class.
Wow, so he's very driven, very you got to have mental fortitude and a lot of physical ability to do that. Number 1, that's amazing.
He was a serious sailor, and those who knew him said he also partied hard.
Well, you gotta blow the release valve somewhere.
He was the kind of guy who could go on a 48-hour bender, sleep for 30 minutes, then run a marathon and finish first place.